no idea if this is working. No? Okay. So, they can't see us yet, I guess, even though I hit go live. So, I don't know what that means.
I know. Don't be knocking stuff over. Yes, that's the crippled one.
What does that mean, live in 4 minutes? What does that mean?
Someone shoot us a text message if we're actually live and we just look ridiculous.
I don't think that we are.
Just spilled drink everywhere. It's okay, buddy. Ah! Don't show me the answer key. That's cheating.
What is it?
Ah, Mom says they see us. Thank you, Mom.
Well, why can't I see it on my computer? So obviously there might be technical difficulties to this because we don't know what we're doing. So, but it's a good thing that someone in the chat said yes. So,
Let us know if you can hear us too.
I guess on my computer it's just a blank screen. So that's fun. Makes a lot of sense. But anyway, so we're here because we've made it to 1,000 subscribers, and William is here because he didn't want to go to bed.
Yeah, this is his bedtime right now. So.
But so we want to thank everybody who's here currently and who joins us every week for videos on our adventures, and lots of people are texting us to tell us we exist.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Just getting messages.
At least we know there's
and
people watching. And I figured we would at most get 10 or so people, and so we've got 5, so that's good. But we're gonna start. We're gonna start basically by introducing ourselves. I'm sure all of you know us, but in Walter's comment that I made earlier, he wanted us to tell you a little bit more about who we actually are that you may not see on the channel. So our names are Ryan and Rachel, and this is Wailing William.
It's not. It's just Will. Also, hi Brooke and Andrew and Jordan and Noah.
But we live here in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
On what we originally thought would be a fairly quiet road, but it's turned out to be kind of like the Autobahn out in front of us. But we've got like a 10-acre property here.
I'm gonna go be somewhere else.
Yeah, he needs
Here, take that to your room.
to go make noise somewhere else.
Yeah, there you go.
He has cheered up a lot lately. If you've seen some of our episodes last year, he was kind of a miserable baby, but he's really improved in demeanor and attitude as it relates to pretty much everything. But yeah, so we live in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. We've got like a 10-acre parcel of mostly wooded ground here, and we originally kind of wanted it to be like a homestead or farmstead type of situation, but I don't know. I guess it kind of works. We have chickens, and we have the 2 dogs, and we have a cat and turkeys.
Hey. Yeah, I can't wait till those are gone. I think we learned that having more animals you have, the more stationary you need to be. Can't have someone here all the time watching the animals for us. That's just not fair to the animals or to whomever we ask. So
yeah, luckily we do have a neighbor that
no
keeps tabs on the chickens and stuff while we're out doing whatever. Especially on the longer trips, like when we were in.
Yes, we have a daughter.
Yeah,
she's being quiet right now. It's nice.
Yeah, Sarah's here too, but she's being quiet, which is what we want. But yeah, so that's who we are in a nutshell. We started traveling with the RV. We actually bought the camper before COVID, so like I don't want to be called a COVID camper, so that's why
Oh.
I make sure that I mention that. We've been camping though with Rachel's parents and with tenting and stuff since we met. Essentially, one of our first like adventures was a tent camping adventure when we first met. So that's we've been doing that. And then so channels that influence us. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is from Walter's comments, so I'm going to mention Walter is a channel that influences us. You're going to get to see him in 2 weeks. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday, because we actually did a hike with him out to Choke Creek Falls, so that was quite a bit of fun. He should be good over there, I think.
We get a lot of inspiration from Walter's videos. We watch all of them, and if it looks like a truly epic place, Ryan has a document where he keeps all the places that we're trying to get to at some point. So almost every single one that Walter's been to has been added to that list.
Pretty much. He does a great job at showing off Pennsylvania, and obviously that's where we live. And so to get into why we started.
He can see us on your phone.
If the child is being annoying, I'm sure the microphone should be directional, so if he's behind it, you shouldn't be able to hear him, but you probably still can because it echoes in here.
He's funny.
But why we started kind of has to do with that, is because we watch a lot of other RV YouTube channels. KYD and Finding Our Someday is kind of the biggest one that influences our style of RVing and that kind of thing. And but none of them spend any time here.
Yeah.
Or even in the general vicinity of here. Like you go to like West Virginia and Virginia and stuff. And like if you look at KYD's travel map, I think there's one episode in West Virginia. So to find things that are obtainable for us East Coasters to do, like there's not a lot of stuff out there on that. And so I thought there was a gap in the content on YouTube, and so that's why we started the channel, is to try to fill the gap and inspire people around here to actually do some traveling things, and that you can do exciting things on the East Coast. Like it's not like this flat, desolate wasteland of nothing here. There are the things that you see out west, they're here on a smaller scale. So that's why we started the channel.
I think we'll get into more of those places a little bit later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about towards the end of this live stream where we're going next, and we're going to need your help in planning some of that stuff. So, like, we're going to places that we've never been. And so if you know things about these places, we're going to ask for some advice on that. So that's where we started, or why we started. Where we started was pretty much ground zero. I know nothing about photography. I know nothing about videography. I don't know anything about filming anything, or editing. Prior to YouTube, it was like 8 years since I touched a computer. So like it was completely foreign to me to be able to do anything. So we've had to invest a lot to get the channel started. So like Andrew says, the road to 2K. Yeah, that's what we're hopefully on, and we're hoping that that our next trip. So by branching out to these different places, hopefully we'll gain some viewers from elsewhere. Hiker Dude Dad's here, so shout out to him. His name is Ryan. Also, Ryan, we need to get together and do a hike sometime. So get in touch with me on Instagram or something, and we'll get to. And Craig, if you're ever in this area, I know you're out towards Philly. Get a hold of us and we will do something.
Simply X. I can't. I'm blind. These glasses do nothing. I can't read who all's in here, but I'm seeing most of your comments, so thank you. I'm glad you guys like our traveling adventures, and thank you for. Oh, cool! You're going for a kayak with Walter soon. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that actually would be really cool. I don't even think I knew he had a kayak, but as far as you know, it's an investment to start a channel. So like I had to buy a computer because I didn't have one. We started with this GoPro Hero 5, which Rachel's brother gave it to me. I guess it's on long-term loan, or maybe it's mine to keep at this point. I'm not sure. We haven't really discussed it. But a lot of the stuff you see in the truck is filmed with this. I was generally unhappy with audio up until last year, so then we got the microphone that's currently attached to my phone, and then later we got this Sony camera, which I do like. It's a it's a ZV-1, which is mainly for vlogging. We bought a camera prior to this that I like when I didn't know anything about anything, and turns out you need to have a better camera if you're gonna take this seriously. And then for this, you need a wide-angle lens, otherwise it cuts like your head off. So that's no good. So that's kind of.
Hi, Bose Campers. Thank you.
So yeah, that's kind of the investment it takes to start a channel, which is what makes YouTube kind of difficult, because you got to buy all this stuff or have it, and then you got to learn how to use it all. And so some of our earlier videos were probably not that stellar.
Yes.
William's back.
He says hi. That's William speak for hi.
But advice for smaller creators, because I know there's several out there, is you just got to kind of stick with it, and the details matter as far as like the sound quality. So you don't want annoying children in your videos making tons of noise, because I've read quite a bit that people will put up with poor video, but they won't put up with poor audio. So a good microphone. And I actually noticed in one of my videos recently that my audio is not as good as what I thought. So watch your stuff on TV. Watch it on several different things, because I've watched it on the computer and I've watched my own stuff on my phone, but until I watched it on the TV, it's a different.
At least our TV. We've asked our family members, and they always say that it's fine on their TV, so it might just be our TV, but it's not bad advice. Things look and sound different on different devices, so.
We, as far as the YouTube experience though, like, my goal, mostly, I guess, hasn't really been to, like, grow into this, like, massive thing, but, these days, it's become, obviously, an extremely crowded and competitive space. So it's not like Instagram and some of those other things where it's just easy to throw out content. But to edit some of these long form videos, it does take a lot of work, and so I give everybody props who's out there doing it, because it's a big time commitment. Rachel gets mad because I'm sitting in front of the computer a lot editing videos.
Yeah.
I don't think I spend as much time on it as some people. Some people say for every minute of video it takes an hour of editing. I don't think that we're quite there, but let's see here. So
You say hi up there. Say hi.
he is starting
There
to
you
talk,
go.
which is, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Hi, yes. Okay. Bye-bye.
We talked a little bit about this already, but what makes us different from the other people in our space, which has turned out to be sort of true and sort of not, because I can tell, like, a lot of you here, we've kind of entered into a different space maybe than what originally I set out to. So, like, we watch a lot of RV content, and that was kind of the space I envisioned us in. And we seem to have entered into, like, a Pennsylvania YouTubers conglomerate. Hiker Dude Dad, what are a few good pros and cons to RV ownership?
It's awesome. I wouldn't camp any other way. Props to everyone who takes a tent out and does that. Every once in a while I think, wouldn't it be cool to get one of those hammock tent things? But I think I'd like that for like 2 nights. The RV, you have everything you need pre-packed for the season if you want it, and then all you have to do is take out laundry and then restock perishable food items. It's just, I would RV all day long.
It's very convenient. because we don't have to unpack, and all our stuff is always with us. So like we forget things when we travel other ways. William's causing mayhem. We forget things when we travel other ways, especially things that are always in the RV. And like that's kind of an annoyance. Last time we went like to my dad's cabin, we forgot what pillows and pretty much everything.
Blankets, towels and sleeping bags and just
yeah, like it turns into just a mess going any other way. Now, like I could see, like I want to get into some backpacking. Rachel and I have talked about doing something. Are we still thinking about doing dolly sods?
if we have time next year.
So that's something we want to do. There's a loop at Dolly Sod, and we were gonna go just us without the kids. Favorite national park we've been to and why?
That's a tricky question. We've been to national parks separately. So, like, do you want to know individually or do you want to know as a couple? Because that changes the answer. My favorite individual was probably Bryce Canyon.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go with Bryce. Also, we were not there together, but I don't know though. Our Smoky Mountain experience was really good, and a lot of that is that Allen Cave Bluff Trail, which Hiker Dude Dad actually like led me to like know that trail existed. So thanks to Ryan for that, because that was probably one of the more epic hikes we've done. Other than our most recent one to Mount Rogers is our favorite hike, so that's a national forest.
Yeah, you got to be careful. That is a con of the RVs. You can get infested with mice. Ryan mentioned we have a cat. She lives in the garage and she takes care of that problem. Sorry, I'm
good.
like much like a squirrel. If something just pops up out of nowhere, I squirrel.
Yeah. If you store your camper outside, mice can be an issue. There's a lot of solutions to that, and there's a lot of YouTube videos out there on that. We are lucky enough to have a garage that our camper fits in, so like for us it's less of a deal, and we try to keep the critters out of that. We had a rat in there once. That was no fun.
Thank you.
But the cat that we have now, she pretty much kills everything within a couple square miles, so let's see here, and that, yeah, so we were going to talk about favorite and least favorite places. With the national parks comment, we've come to like national forests, I think, probably more than national parks, wouldn't you say? As far as like,
I haven't been to enough to make up my mind yet. Ask me about another half dozen national forests versus national parks.
we are going to another one shortly. What is it? Green Mountain?
Yeah.
It's in southern Vermont. So we're going to talk about that here in a bit. But what's our favorite and least favorite places that we've been?
Well, after this year, Grayson Highlands is probably my favorite. Before that, it was probably Colonel Denning.
Yeah, if you haven't been to Colonel Denning State Park and like do that trail up to Flat Rocks, and that's how I actually discovered Walter's channel, is looking for that hike. So, but that's a spectacular place. And yeah, Grayson Highlands is definitely my favorite. What would you say our least favorite place is?
I don't know if it counts, but the Reedsville Lake park was just, the more I think back on it, the more I just did not like that place at all.
Yeah, it was kind of sketchy. I touched on it a little bit in the video if you watched it, but there were kids on the playground that were cursing at each other, and the one kid was threatening to kill another kid with a rock. And
it was just frightening, and there were no adults in sight. It just was bad vibes.
Yeah, and like I don't want our kids exposed to that kind of stuff. That's one of the reasons we go to more remote locations, is because we try to get away from the evils of society, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yes, that's your nose.
Yeah, anywhere where it's hot is my least favorite place. I don't do well when it's that hot. So let's see here. What do we have upcoming as far as episodes go? This Thursday is Bear Creek Preserve, which is up near the Francis Slocum area where we were camped, and then we got Choke Creek with Walter will be in the following episode, and then there'll be several episodes on Poe Valley State Park, which that's one of our new favorite places. Also, I'm surprised you didn't mention that one.
I'd forgotten about it, but in Pennsylvania, yes, it's one of my favorite places. And I don't know if that's because of the location or just the style of trip we had there. We actually slowed down a lot, and we had time to relax at the campground, and just we were at a slower pace than we usually are, and that was nice.
Yeah, I try to in the summer slow down a little bit because of the heat, and you can't just go. So, campsite.
Ooh, cool. We should talk some more
I
offline about Dolly
I think
Sods.
the 16-mile loop you're referring to might be the one I want to do. I have a map somewhere with it on it, and so yeah, Dolly Sods. You've been to Dolly Sods, and I've never been there. So, well, I might have been there and I just don't know it, because somewhere where we are planning to go. I've actually been there before, and I thought I hadn't, but my uncle told me recently that you've been there. So there's just things that I don't remember from my childhood, I guess. But then there's some things like Cass Railroad. I would say that's my favorite place.
Oh, that was good.
Cass Scenic Railroad. If you haven't done that, I'm a rail fan. You're going to see another rail fan video soon. We did do the East Broadtop Railroad. Bill from Maximum Outdoors is here.
Maximum Outdoors.
Bill just hit 15,000 subscribers, him and Sam. So big congratulations to you guys. Talk about a growing channel, and they've accomplished one of our biggest dreams, which is going to Alaska. So that's their second time here, and that I would say is the end goal of our channel, is to figure out a way to get our RV to Alaska, and see everything there is to see along the way, Banff and Jasper and all that stuff.
That's ambitious.
So
it might take 1 or 2 or 3 trips.
Yeah, that's our long-term goal. I got distracted.
I'm running off.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So we talked a little bit about what gear we've got going on now, but I did want to talk about our future goals for the channel, and I want to ask you guys' opinion on this too. We are either going to get a drone or some sort of 360 camera, but we can't do both. So I know you don't particularly care for the 360 cameras as far as
No,
footage.
I just don't like the way the footage looks. Like, a lot of other channels use them, and I don't like the way it looks. That's just a personal opinion.
But what would you rather see on the channel? A drone or some 360 GoPro footage?
Nope.
Because that's
Nope.
that's kind of what we're looking at. The problem with the drones is you can't fly them in a lot of places, and it's getting more restrictive because people are kind of abusing it to some degree and like flying them like right next to people and stuff. And
Yeah, we were at Summersville for Sarah's birthday again this year, and we did the hike out to Long Point, and there was someone sitting out on the end. They hiked in right behind us, and they went out to the end and put their drone up right there, and it wasn't extremely obtrusive, but
yeah, I would say the drone is probably something that we want. But if you guys know too, what is the difference between the DJI Mini 3 and the Mini 2? Other than one is $500 more than the other. So those of you tech people that know something, because you're going to be my research crew here, because even when it comes to like the locations, and that's why I want to ask you guys' opinion on this, because like we're very busy, so it's very difficult sometimes to do the research that it takes to end up at like epic places. So, and with equipment too, like that's why the first camera I bought for YouTube was not something that was meant for videos whatsoever, and so then I started filming with the phone. But so I guess yeah, Bus Camper says there's only 5 PA state parks that allow drone flying.
I didn't think there
I
were any.
think you can get permission or a permit or something if you talk to the park managers, depending on what you want to do. But
Oh,
I haven't tried that. If anybody has tried like getting permission to film with the drone at a state park that typically doesn't allow it, let us know about that too. So we are in several weeks. We're going to be headed north to some kind of uncharted territory for both of us, places that we've never been. The campground we're staying at is in western Massachusetts. So if anyone knows anything about that area, we are looking for a winery or a place to do like wine tasting or like a cidery. So that type of thing. We're not taking the kids. So
we're not planning on taking the kids.
yeah, unless something crazy happens, we're not taking the kids. So let us know if you know any like good wineries or something in that area. I don't know. There's really no towns, I don't think, near where we're at. But I don't know. Maybe there's towns everywhere up
I don't
there.
have my phone. I can't look at the map.
But like I said, I know nothing about anything north of New York City, especially going that way. I mean, I've been to Canada, to like Niagara Falls, but that's in a totally different region.
We'll get to scratch off if we're lucky 3 new states on our state map. So we have a national park scratch off map and then a state map where we scratch off the states we've been to. So I think we'll get to scratch off 3 new ones this year if we do things right. That'll
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah, because Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont are all places I've never been. And there's just so much, like, the more that I do research, there's so much up there that we want to do. And it's not as far away as you would think, at least from here.
I want to do Nantucket. So everyone help me convince him that we need to go to Nantucket.
There was
I've been asking for years.
a guy that I work with was actually texting me this morning about him and his wife just went to Nantucket. They didn't make it to Nantucket, but they did everything else, like on Providence. Is that the Providence Dunes, I think is what he said. So, yeah, that would be cool. The other big trip, and this is something I really need some people's opinions on, is next summer, our big trip, what we're going to be probably doing, assuming everything goes our way, is Michigan. And we would like to know what you think is worth seeing, especially in the Lower Peninsula. We're going to make it into the UP, hopefully, but just barely. So, Hiker Dude Dad says 360 cameras can go everywhere, which...
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that is true. There's no restrictions on that, so that's a big plus with those. So we would like to know interesting things that you've seen or done in Michigan, and that's another place I've been to, but I don't remember anything about it. It was in 2002, so 20 years ago. And have you been to Michigan?
I think we have when I was a kid, so.
So
But
you don't
again,
remember.
I don't remember much.
We're talking about going up the west coast of the Mitten, so we're looking for fun things to do in that region. I know of a couple, but anything that you can add to my list would be helpful. And then probably going to go across the bridge into the UP just to say we did it. And then there's Waterfall State Park in that region. I'd love to go across the UP, but there's no time for that. We only have like a week and a half to make this happen, so we're pretty much going to fly on up. I mean, not fly, but like fly in the truck and the camper up to Michigan, go up the west coast, and then fly back down.
Well, maybe a little slower back down. We were talking about stopping at Cuyahoga National Park in Ohio on our way back from Michigan next year, but that depends on how much time we have. So we'll see.
The other thing is too, I still don't know exactly what the situation is as it relates to filming in national parks. It seems like everybody on YouTube is just ignoring it, so I don't know. Like, there's different people's opinions on different things as it relates to that, but I would prefer not to be doing anything illegal.
Things may change by next year. They may change the law. I'm still trying to convince him that just because we don't film somewhere doesn't mean we can't go somewhere.
That's true too. Bill says...
yes, we do. We'll be more specific in some chat with you later.
Yeah, definitely let us know what's on the west coast of Michigan.
And a Youper.
And we've got a Youper that we can get in touch with too. Taquamon Falls. Is that what it's called? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a state park just as you get into the UP. I shouldn't say just as you get into it because I think it is like 2 hours up or something like that. But I think that's like the farthest we're gonna try to go. But I don't know. We might take it like a day trip over to Sault Ste. Marie to see the locks. But I don't know if your parents will want to do that because they'll be coming. They'll be coming through. Yeah, we're caravanning with them, so that ought to be fun too. But they probably would have already seen Sault Ste. Marie, so we'll talk about it. But
it's in the very, very primary infant stages of planning, as you can tell.
That's why we want to know more. If you guys got like bucket list items, because we haven't booked anything yet. In Michigan state parks, you can't book until 6 months out, so we have to wait a while to book. But that's something I guess we could talk about because we still do have quite some time if y'all want to stick around. But we do plan everything significantly in advance, comparatively to like the other people we watch on
we
YouTube.
at least book reservations. What we do we don't do a day-to-day itinerary necessarily months out, but we do book where we're going to be staying as far in advance as possible. The way Ryan's vacation time works and my work schedule now works, we can't afford to not make reservations.
Yeah, there's so many people that like they just like go, and I wish that I had time to just like bounce around and like if you can't, but then if you can't get a reservation at a state park, which are the cheaper reservations, like the private campgrounds probably have space open, but then you're going to be paying quite a lot more. Like we made reservations for next year at a private campground, and it's $100 a night. So it's $385 for the whole duration of the stay. But like if you were to book at a state park, you can book 3 stays for the same, like 3 4-night stays at state parks essentially for that amount of time. So that's why we prefer state parks, or at least one of the reasons. There's someone here all the way from Hawaii. So
cool.
We do have some like repair and modification stuff coming up, hopefully. And I doubt there's anybody here, but a lot of people have been asking about updates on the truck, and I haven't done anything because I have really nothing to report. So I don't like making videos about, fluff just for the sake of making a video and talking. And plus we have so much other stuff filmed and ready to go. But there's going to be some stuff as it relates to that if TransferFlow ever gets the gas tank on the market, because we need a bigger gas tank, hopefully by the time we go to Michigan. So, and then as far as that goes too, we are looking for a new camper, so there's going to be all kinds of stuff as far as content for modifications and all that thing as it relates to the new camper, because obviously you can't buy anything and it be right from the factory.
No.
It seems like
That's
everything.
Okay.
Seems like everything has to be modified somehow. So
I'm pretty excited about what we're looking at. It's a brand new floor plan. Not to give too much away, because I'm pretty sure you want that to be like a surprise, but it's pretty awesome.
yeah, if we can somehow get our hands on one. So that's that. But was talking about. Could you guess your most popular video? I know what my most popular video is. It is the video where we bought the new truck, and it's like at 50,000 views, I think.
He wants to know which one you think coming up will be the most popular.
Oh, coming up that could be the most popular?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really thought Ricketts Glen was going to do well, but
Where did we go after Po Valley?
Summersville. And Summersville, I would guess, is going to fly off the shelves just because last year's Summersville video is one of our best as far as travel vlogs is concerned. So.
And I think the one here coming up in a couple weeks, I think that trip will be.
Po Valley?
No, like our actual trip that we're leaving.
Oh,
for
yeah.
weeks.
When we go to Massachusetts, I would imagine.
We've got a lot of cool stuff planned for up there, so.
the fellow Pennsylvanians in the audience, I mean, you can probably guess where we're going because you all watch Cliff's channel, and we're not doing a carbon copy of his stuff, but we're certainly following in his footsteps there. But
And there's a reason we're not taking the children along on that. So I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of my fear of heights and his love of dragging me to places that involve heights.
yeah, you should have seen her on Whiteside Mountain in North Carolina. It was a pretty legitimate panic attack.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we're hoping that if I don't have the children to worry about, maybe I'll be a little bit more relaxed.
yeah,
It'll be a nice experiment anyway.
she's done a lot though recently that I would have never expected her to do, like the Kinswood Bridge.
Although I was freaking out at the end of that too, because it was moving. Everyone out there thought I was crazy, but I wasn't. The bridge was moving. Swear to this day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might jiggle a little bit, but so it. I guess if let's see here, where else? What else is interesting that we have coming up? Not really, probably anything.
Well,
We'd like to do something over the winter.
We're gonna go into another. I'm hoping we go into another RV show. So, if you guys are interested in anything like that, like let us know what you'd like to see shots of at an event like that. If you don't go yourself, because I always like going to at least one show, and it's always a fun experience to get to see the different kind of rigs there. So if there's something in particular that you'd like to see while we're out at a show like that, just let us know and we can make sure to include something like that. Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, that trail was extremely difficult, more so than I was expecting.
I think, yeah, that was a very difficult trail. So we had a comment about Ricketts Glen, and we did not get to, if you saw it, we did not get to do the full trail because of a trail closure. But that was a difficult trail as it was. I think we were all exhausted.
With that whole thing, though, there was something I wanted to mention that I've forgotten about until now, is we had some people comment in the Ricketts video about being surprised that like we were able to take the kids on some of the difficult trails and things that we do. And we actually, on a hike we were on recently, like there was a guy who pretty legitimately scared us by saying that like that
children on
that you should never take kids on a trail like this, and like he kind of told us we were crazy. And yeah, I mean,
we finished it and it was not.
Nobody died, or like we didn't have any injuries or anything like that.
It was not that scary.
It actually wasn't even as hard as Ricketts.
Ricketts Glen was way scarier.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah does exceptionally well on the trail, and we've had her hiking by pretty much since the first time we went to Kinswood, which was fall of 2020. Are we going to the Hershey show? No,
not the Hershey
we
one.
have
Maybe Pittsburgh.
I wanted to go. I've never been to the Hershey show, and that would be something really awesome to do, especially because there's a lot of other RV YouTubers on there. So it's kind of like Walter's meetup that we missed. It's kind of really stinks because it's a good networking thing for the channel, but we had already planned something else for that weekend before we knew what it was. But probably doing the one in Pittsburgh or the one in Altoona.
I can't remember what that one's called. I think it's called the Pennsylvania RV Expo or something like that. But that one's really close for us.
We didn't take the dogs on the Ricketts Glen Trail, which is good because I don't think I would have been real thrilled if we had them.
They're getting better on leashes, and because we've taken them so much. But that's still one where our balance was tricky enough without having dogs pull us on leashes. So
yeah, like I said, we have 10 acres here, and the dogs are never on leashes, except for when we're camping. And Trigger, we worked with a lot when we first got him to get him leash trained because we still lived in the apartment and we took him for walks every day on a leash. But the other one, she pretty much never seen a leash until like we got the camper and
Because we
started.
just didn't need to.
And there was never a reason for it. But she's horrible. She'll pull you, and like we got one of them harnesses that are supposed to prevent pulling, but that don't.
She just powers
She
through.
just powers through it and pulls through anyway. So, yeah. So I don't think, and the dogs are going with us to Massachusetts, but they're not going on the trail.
At least not the big one.
And that was that's one of the reasons why we didn't want to do a boondocking thing up there, because we need electricity for the AC for the dogs in case it's hot. It's usually not hot in September, but you never know.
Yeah, it's a flip of a coin. Yeah, one of these days we're gonna make it to Hershey. I know it's the biggest in the state, and it just.
I think it's they think like they call it the biggest in the country, don't they?
They do. I think they have that.
The one in
label.
Tampa is the only other one that like really
Might rival.
compares.
Yeah.
And that would be cool to do. We'd have to fly, or just do a crazy drive or something like we did for our honeymoon, and just hope that when we come back, the roof is still on our house.
Yeah.
Let's see, but yeah, those types of things are great for networking, and so it's disappointing that we are missing out on it.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, and then we might do some sort of tour of the one we're looking at, like an RV tour of the one we're looking at prior to actually buying it, if we can find one on a lot.
Yeah, that's
somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Because the other floor plan I was looking at, they just found out the other day they ruined it. So for 2024.
They changed the decor. Heaven forbid they changed the color of the cabinets, and now he's offended. I mean.
Yeah, the 2024 it's ruined. So we have to get the one she wants, which isn't really that big of a deal. But that's going to make it harder for us to get into state park sites potentially, because it's going to be longer, 35 feet. So it's 10 feet longer, and that's kind of the pushing the limits for state parks. Andrew wants to know, what was our first ever video? The first stuff we filmed
That was on like
was
Instagram TV.
I did like some IGTV stuff because I don't know, like I thought that was going to be a platform that was going to do something, but I don't even know if that still exists. But I re-edited that footage and put it on YouTube last winter. So there's a playlist for 2020 RV camping, and that includes the original Kinswood Bridge video. We did Parker Dam State Park.
Great Falls, right?
No, that
was after.
Great Falls wasn't.
I don't
filmed.
even remember.
We didn't film Great Falls.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, I always say, if we'd have been doing YouTube when we did Great Falls of the Potomac, that would have been a great video, because that place is spectacular. One of these days, and maybe we can squeeze it into next year, I'd like to recreate the whole experience and film it for you guys, because there's just so much awesome stuff down there. Where the Adventure Hat is.
It's in the truck.
It's in the truck. It was in the Ricketts Glen video, and it was in the one before that, wasn't it?
I
No,
don't
it wasn't.
remember. I think
We did bring it back though
Yeah.
for Ricketts Glen, and it should be in all the
most of the ones after that. But it was so. I try to make their bunks like a home away from home for them when we're camping. So their bunks maybe are a little overfilled with kid stuff. Sorry. And the hat was like buried under her blankets and pillows in her bunk, but now it's in the truck, so we can just grab it when we're getting out of the truck to start a hike.
Yeah, Andrew says Ole Bull State Park. That was the first video that we actually released on YouTube. Yeah, and
That was a good.
I think it was filmed entirely with this little GoPro, and like I said, I had very little idea what I was doing, and then Blue Knob was right after that. Found out some of the private campgrounds offer. Yes, so the private campgrounds do offer more. That is absolutely true. Before private campgrounds prices skyrocketed, we did like to stay at KOAs, and actually when we were at Harper's Ferry and did Great Falls, that was a KOA.
We had a KOA membership for that first year, and it paid for itself. We used it a lot that first year, and then
Hocking Hills was a KOA too, and that's one where we actually did use the amenities, and I think we used the pool at Bellefonte too once.
And a jumping pillow. We took Sarah on the jumping pillow all the time. And yeah, it was nice. We did a hayride at Bellefonte the one time, and
Back then it was $40 a night to stay at those places. Now it's 80 to 100.
COVID hit and it
So,
changed everything.
I mean,
So
for us, we don't use the amenities enough to make that worth it, and we camp so often, like, we would have to seriously cut back on the amount of camping we do, and that wouldn't be sustainable for the channel, nor would it be sustainable for my mental health, because I have to have something coming in the next 2 to 3 weeks for me to drive me to actually go to work and do all the other things that I'm supposed to do on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I mean, if we were spending, like I said, that one we just booked was $385. If we were spending $385 every time we went camping, we would go
we
broke
couldn't do it.
pretty quickly. But we do, and that's the other thing too, is like if you get the kids ingrained to expect all that stuff at every camping trip,
Then every
they're gonna
primitive place
they're
you
gonna
go,
want that, and
Yeah.
they're when you go to somewhere else, they're gonna be disappointed. Where's the pool? Where's the this? Where's the that? And like I said, we just can't afford it. And
It's already like so. Almost every single state park we've stayed at has a playground in or near the campground. And last year, for our last camping trip of the year, when we went to Boondock in the state forest, the first thing Sarah asks when we get out of the truck is, "Where's the playground?" And we just say, "Out there. Look, there's a stream. Go play."
and she did, and she got drenched.
Yeah. So I mean, but just goes to show that she was expecting a playground, and it could have been a disappointing trip for her if she wasn't as adaptable as she is. So
Yeah, and some kids are more adaptable than others, and Sarah is very adaptable. The other one is not adaptable to anything. So like, but that's the one good thing. Like all this stuff, the hiking, the tough hikes, like Mount Rogers, and facing adversity and facing it together as a family, and that does build character, and it helps make your kids, I think, more adaptable. So that's yes, and that's why she I forget his name. Simply Exploventuring. I forget your name, but he was saying that state parks are easier on the wallet and trails are more accessible. That's why we liked Colonel Denning so much, because
We
the
left
hike
straight
to
from the
Flat Rock
camper.
was right there, and you don't have to drive anywhere, and I liked that. And Grayson Hines, we had to go like I don't know, a quarter mile of the trail.
Just
We
up the
could have
hill.
walked from the camper, but I didn't want to add any more miles to the 10-mile hike.
yeah.
Somewhere else we walked right out of the camper and went on a hike.
Where we stayed for Memorial Day, or
Chapman?
yeah,
Yeah,
Chapman,
we did
left
that.
right from the camper.
That's a hidden gem, by the way. If you've never been to Chapman State Park, it's
That was a
absolutely
nice
a hidden gem. But I thought there was somewhere else we did like an awesome hike, and we just walked right out of the camper and did it.
Well, everything we did at Huntington Beach State Park, we just walked straight out of the camper. Whereas, well, he's down the hall.
He's playing with.
He's
a
playing
truck.
with a car. He's fine. He's fine.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully. Let's see here. Yeah, we like hiking, and there would have been a trail at Leonard Harrison, an epic trail, but we couldn't.
Leonard Harrison was quote unquote closed while we were there.
Although for being closed, it was like the busiest state park in
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
So many cars kept pulling in, and then
So you'll get to see
turning
that.
around.
I should mention to y'all, we are like way behind. We have a extreme backlog of content. So like some of the things I'm talking about, you won't see till like December or even January. And the reason for that is, even though I do want to go camping in the winter, but like I'm trying to like build the content so that in the winter when there's a little bit more of a lull, and I'm spending all my time splitting firewood, and we really can't leave the house too much in the wintertime just because we heat the house entirely with wood. So if the fire goes out, then we have problems. So it makes it difficult to leave. And so if we do go winter camping, we got to figure that out. But I do want to do like a weekend trip, and there's 4 state parks in Pennsylvania that are open during the winter. So I'll let you guys guess which one you think we may go to.
props to you for tent camping. I mean, that's just another reason why I don't want to tent camp because you can get rained out really easy, and that makes it tough. But I mean,
tent camping though might be the only way that you get in at World's End, because I was trying to book sites. I've been trying to book a site at World's End for this whole season, and at no point in time could I get a site with the dates that we were able to go. And I tried to book it for next year, and we still couldn't get it. So we're going to go to World's End, but we're not camping there. We're camping someplace else. But yeah, you said your last video, it was July 4th. So yeah.
That's ages ago.
It definitely was, and this is September. The beach trip definitely created a lot of content, and Michigan will do the same thing for us next year. And it makes it hard though, because like I said, we were having issues with like the camera settings and stuff, and like here I am like 6 months later, and I've got all this stuff filmed with the same settings that I didn't realize were messed up. And now I've changed some things on the camera, but I got 6 months to wait to see if it works. And by then I'll like forget, and then I'll have like a bunch of other stuff filmed with the settings that may or may not be better. And that's the one thing. And like when I was talking to Walter about it when we were hiking at Choke Creek, and I agree with him, is it's very difficult to remember the feeling of the moment that as you're editing the footage, to get it to have the right feel to it of like it was when you were there. And when you're color grading stuff, you can't remember what it looked like to make it look like it looked like, because the camera doesn't always show things as they were visible. Have we been to Assateague? We were at Chincoteague Island KOA several years ago.
We went to the national park, but not the state park.
Yeah, and we drove over to Assateague Island.
Right.
I would like to spend more time out there now that we have a rig a little more capable of boondocking, because you can boondock out at the national seashore, I believe.
With a rig?
I believe. Yeah, didn't Les Junkmore Journey do it?
They were at the state park, I think.
But yeah,
it's primitive at the state park.
That whole area is phenomenal. We were talking about going back down that way next year, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Shenandoah was good. We were there last year, which was lucky, because this year when we drove past, like we said, you couldn't see anything.
Because of the smoke from the Canada wildfires.
From the fires, but Shenandoah was nice. We did not get to spend enough time in this national park, but the state park we stayed in, I highly recommend. That was
Virginia state parks are immaculate. Like the amount of like maintenance that they do in Virginia, they are more expensive than Pennsylvania, but the Virginia state parks are very well taken care of, and definitely, like, if you have a chance to stay at one, do so.
Hi, Walter. I'll be right back.
Walter's
I'm gonna
here.
get something.
Did a lot of railroad riding last year for Christmas on my channel, but want to do other stuff this Christmas. We've got East Broad Top coming up. Rachel just got me this book, because I haven't done a lot of rail fanning stuff recently, but I would like to do more. And this has all kinds of stuff in it. We were looking for places to maybe go in Michigan, and I don't know. We got to look at that some more.
Yeah, this is nationwide, and it's not just train rides; it's train museums. But we saw this at the place we just were in the bookshop, and then we got to talking about it later, and decided it would be a good resource. So went ahead and got one.
But we also, and I keep saying, like, this list is so long, but I would like to go back to Cass next year, because they just opened a new line down the Greenbrier River that hasn't been open since 1985. So that's something we'd like to do. There's a whole slew of...
Cass was amazing. When we go back, we want to do what's it called? The Durban Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. We want to do that one next time. We enjoyed the EBT.
It's a short ride that they have going on now at East Broad Top.
Yeah.
But they, I just actually seen an update on Facebook today. They're getting more track, like, ready to go. And so, I mean, it's going to be something special when they get everything rehabilitated, but it could take a significant amount of time. And they should have another locomotive going here soon, too. With that, if you do like East Broad Top stuff, There's another channel. He's an RVer. His channel is called History is a Blast, and that's actually where I found the. Where did we go? Heart's Content was on his channel, but he is a member of Friends of the East Broad Top, and so he does a lot of updates on that as well. Considering live one of these days, we're doing a good job.
Yeah. Gotta look at the.
Yeah. So if you're ever trying to go live, just make sure that you know this. It takes 24 hours for you to be able to do so after you hit the button. So luckily I did some research on that. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. So you got to hit the go live button, and then it takes 24 hours for YouTube to make sure that you're not like going to spread some sort of nonsense or whatever, and
like
make
a
sure you're a
safety
legit
precaution.
channel. Yeah, because someone could just like hit a go live button and just start like causing trouble, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So make sure that you do that and get everything. Yes, expanding the line at the EBT. And like I said, they are going south, and I think they're trying to reopen everything from the common carrier days, but who knows how long that could take. But I think Pogue is the short-term goal, and there's a bridge I know they did surveys on to make sure that it's good, and there's tunnels and all kind of cool stuff. We have been doing a lot of Rails to Trails, so that's coming up.
Yeah.
When we were at Poe Valley, we went to see the tunnel there, and we did. Walter says no misinformation, says YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, you're allowed to misinform people to a certain degree, only if your opinion matches theirs.
Oh, there goes.
Andrew's headed out. Probably football going on. I do know Sunday nights is when football, and we're probably going to stop here at 8 o'clock anyhow. Yeah, Sunday nights seems to be the time when all the RV content comes out and other RVers do live streams, so that's why we chose this. I did not pick Sunday nights to be the RV prime time. I guess Mark and Trish from Keep Your Daydream did.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because I think they started the Sunday night thing, and now that's when all the RV stuff comes out. So I was hoping maybe this would spread to that, but I don't think it worked. But you never know. Obviously, this was an aggressive move for a way to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. I'm not naive to that. However, you don't get success on YouTube by being not aggressive and not doing aggressive things. So
You're the expert. I'm not.
that's
but
just the way it is, I guess.
just real quick though, like thank you everyone for spending some time with us tonight. It's been fun seeing all the chat come through and getting to kind of talk to you. So hopefully we'll get to maybe meet up with.
We want to see everybody in person.
Yeah.
Walter, when you do your next swap meet, we need to make sure that we make it a priority to go, because we would like to meet everybody.
Yeah.
I would like to plan something, but next summer's kind of shot, so if we plan some sort of our own meetup, it will probably be in 2025, or I don't know, maybe we could do like a winter thing
Maybe.
that's just like a day hike or something.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, winter's fun to some degree. Random. I'll have to maybe head over to that too and watch it. Is he going on at 8 o'clock? But it's almost 8 o'clock. So
Yeah,
probably.
almost.
Yeah, and so I wish that hopefully I can find a way to scam my way to get off of work to do the Laurel Highlands Trail. Although y'all are doing 70 miles in like 3 days, and I don't know if I'm in shape for that. 3 or 4 days, I think it was.
Seriously, good luck.
Yeah, good luck, because that
That's pretty extreme. Like
it's. I've done sections of that trail in my youth, but yeah, and it would have been perfect because my parents live on
4 days.
one end and her parents live on the other, so it would have been easy for me to like orchestrate it logistically. But yeah, I don't know, because my work schedule may change because of some other things, so I will see what I can do, because that would be great for content too. I would say that's about it, unless but yeah, again, thanks everybody for coming
thank you.
today. Thank you for coming every Thursday and watching our videos. I know that everybody's watching them completely, and I know some of them are long, so so that's like awesome that you're willing to spend 30 minutes of your time with us every Thursday. I always try to keep them under 30 minutes because I feel like
That's long enough.
that's long.
That's
Now,
long enough.
I know in the RV space some people do the one Wild RV Life. They're pretty good. We were watching their video before we came on here, and it's like 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody for subscribing and getting us to 1,000 subscribers. We do really appreciate it, and it's not just for the money thing because I mean, you're not going to make a lot of money on YouTube anyway, but yeah, it's cool that 1,000 people, want to watch our content and want to be inspired to go on adventures in Pennsylvania and the Northeast and all the places that other RVers don't typically take you. So
Yeah.
it's 8 o'clock. We're going to cut it off, and we're going to do this again probably sometime over the winter, maybe like January when my work schedule comes out and we're trying to plan our season. So if there's any Pennsylvania state parks you want us to go to on the channel, definitely join us next time. Yes, definitely. And you're responsible for the steaks, Hiker Dude Dad, when we do finally get to meet up somewhere.
Thank you guys. Stay tuned for more adventures.